Well, welcome to my area, my space. Simply put, to bring you all the topics on what's going on in this world. So, let's get to it.
Mirror sharp, reflections on the screen. Code in my veins, I'm the algorithm queen. Built my throne from blocks, no prefab scene. Blueprints of ambition, stitched in every seam. Stepping through the jungle, predator not prey. Snakes in the grass, watch them all slink away. Chiseled my name, stone won't decay. I don't play the game, nah, I sculpt the clay. Game recognized, game, that's the creed. I don't follow footsteps, I plant the seed. Foundation firm, I grow, I breathe. Game recognize me cause I lead, I lead. Chessboard, mind moves 10 ahead while they tiptoe. I'm stomping lead. Talk big, but their credit's unread. I'm the boss fight, they'll always dread. Painted my stripes, earned every hue. While they counterfeit moves, I'm inventing new. Spin the globe, my axis, my view. No GPS needed, I chart what's true. No shadow I chase, I'm the light they see. Magnet to the crown, call it gravity. Echoes in my wake, their mimicry spree. But originals never fear a forgery. Game recognized, game, that's the creed. I don't follow footsteps, I plant the seed. Foundation firm, I grow, I breathe. Game recognize me cause I lead, I lead.
From my mouth to your ears. So, listen up, right here on Simply Put. Again, welcome. Starting with a bit of news. In Fulton County, Atlanta, a former contract nurse at the Fulton County Jail is behind bars after authorities accused her of smuggling drugs and contraband into the facility in exchange for digital payments. According to Fox 5 Atlanta, authorities discovered the scheme through an incriminating note and surveillance footage showing the nurse distributing illegal items. The sheriff's office fired the nurse and announced upgraded X-ray security at all jail entrances to prevent smuggling. People are so bold now. Jesus, just take the wheel and drive off. Moving on. Let's get into what's going on with trucking and the life of a CDL driver. The FMCSA rule cracking down on freight brokers who don't pay truckers is now in effect. A Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration (FMCSA) rule that cracks down on freight brokers and forwarders who fail to pay carriers goes into effect today. This rule will result in benefits to motor carriers. FMCSA is aware that some brokers choose to withhold payment to motor carriers for services rendered. Motor carriers can then submit claims to the financial responsibility provider to receive payment. FMCSA believes that most brokers operate with integrity and uphold the contracts they make with motor carriers and shippers. However, a minority of brokers with unscrupulous business practices can create unnecessary financial hardship for unsuspecting motor carriers, the agency said. The rule was published in November 2023 and officially went into effect in January 2024. Still, compliance dates were pushed back to January 2026 to provide regulated entities time to use and familiarize themselves with an online registration system. Truckers cheer FMCSA's move to fight back against bad brokers. 0.3S The Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association, OIDA, has pushed for the rule for more than a decade and cheered the fact that truckers now have an extra measure of protection from broker misconduct. I approve this message according to CDL-Life.com. Now on the entertainment side of things. 50 Cent's G-Dome seeks zoning approval in Shreveport. 50 Cent. I have always liked him.
Now,
let me continue. Curtis, 50 Cent. Jackson's G Unit is seeking approval from Shreveport's Zoning Board of Appeals for unique aspects of the planned G-Dome before continuing development. Concept art shows what the G-Dome will potentially look like. According to the Zoning Board of Appeals preliminary case list, the architect of the G-Dome submitted a request regarding the building height and setback requirements. The Downtown Development Authority, DDA, confirmed this is due to the dome's circular structure and its above-average height, which differ from downtown's building guidelines. The DDA says the G-Dome's new elements must be approved before construction can begin. If you want us to do something different than what's in the current guidelines, then give us the reason and the basis for which we should do so. So that's exactly what Mr. Jackson and his team have done. We are excited to be a part of it and look forward to it in the future, said Cedric Glover, executive director of the DDA. $74 million investment planned. Along with the G-Dome, 50 Cent is investing $74 million to revitalize downtown Shreveport, bringing in new bars, restaurants, and shops. This is all according to what I read on Shreveport, Louisiana, KSLA.
Now,
not because he's doing all of this. It seems he's making moves, and I love that. 50 is a confident man in what he says and what he does. I also have a dislike for him as well, and that's another story.
I've been so tuned in to what's going on
in music now, because I used to be a big fan, especially with hip-hop. What I notice with all the interviews and videos made regarding going to the events, a lot of people are justifying going to the Diddy parties. The women are being called out now for being a beard to these famous men.
And
maybe a little more of that part. And let's not forget how they all respond in statements. From most of them, I can't understand it. And in my opinion alone, it just seems all so
suspect.
I've also been watching academics for a while to keep up with the entertainment side of things. He does really well in doing so. I've also noticed the swarm of green insects, the jealous men, that flies all around him needing his help, and just looking/watching, only to suck him dry. Take it however you may. I think it's ridiculously pathetic, the way people use people. I'm not saying I agree with all of his point of views on matters, such as with women. It's obvious he hasn't experienced what good women are
yet,
and that's possibly because of all of his surroundings, influencing him to stick in that old big septic tank of dirty life, swimming all around. I had just said, the dating pool is now dirty the other day. OMG. And his logic regarding having side chicks. Dude will always be by himself. The nerve. It actually had me thinking about how many of them do that. And really, I seriously doubt he knows the difference. And just maybe he's really trying to catch that one huge or perhaps all of those famous packages being passed around.
From
them ones. However, moving on. Let's hope he doesn't let anyone, people, place, or the things distract him from his objective. Remember, this is just my very own thoughts and theories. I'm pretty confident in my ability to think regarding my own opinions. On another note, let's get into the reality side of the entertainment. And this is my opinion. LAMH. I loved this show when I came across it in 2020. I found it authentic and relatable, and it was the only good reality series at the moment. Considering that it was just beginning, the start of it, a common starting point for most reality shows. At first, all reality shows are good and relatable. Also, during that time, Melody was a cast mate on the show. People were always waiting to see how her story would turn out. given that 4 beautiful kids were involved. So, it was worthwhile to watch. Then, it went all to shit.
And
As soon as she left, I was done with the show. Blogging people on YouTube became weird, going to war with each other personally, taking disagreements to the next level as if it was a must to agree. I was like, okay, hold up.
enough.
Watching and listening to all the foolery, I said to myself, this room is now officially red. It's time to go. I'm dipping, this is too freaking weird. Anyways, while scrolling through YouTube, I came across this clip of another couple from the show, Marie's and old girl Kimmy. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't care for Kimmy on the show after a while. At first, she was okay. But I always saw the fakery in her. She comes across as very defensive and envious. I can recall making tons of comments about them. She was just ridiculous and so embarrassing to watch anymore. Now getting back to the clip. When I saw it, I laughed because I thought, boy, they're finally telling the truth? I mean, speaking their truth. And of course, I giggled. However, Kimmy shared some truly relatable facts about marriage. Women like me find men who are actively hands-on in their work so attractive. And as time passes, the perception of it all gets trampled on. Then you find yourself grabbing hold of something else, trying to keep your marriage together, and that's when you realize it was all just hype. Marie's response was interesting and informative to watch. It was at that point you realized who was giving old man Hotel it all the stupid advice. Nowadays, in my opinion, men want the role of the woman, and, simply put, men are just bitter and lazy. By the way, looking at the upcoming scenes, it's determined that Marceau is still the best out of all the men on the show. Whenever I watch any reality show, I often wonder about their children, wondering how they must feel, seeing their parents on everybody's screens, for the whole world to see and critique. And how does it make them think? My girls are young, 20 and 22, not 304s. The first thing they would say, don't put us in that position. The way I see it, seeing how everything is so out in the open, I couldn't be happier now that my past led me down another road in life. And working an actual job for myself. Wrapping up, let me take it to the end and leave you with some poetry by Melody Godford. For thinkers and feelers, the self-love philosopher. Until the next time, visit my blog, simplyput.online. I'm out.
Mirror sharp, reflections on the screen. Code in my veins, I'm the algorithm queen. Built my throne from blocks, no prefab scene. Blueprints of ambition, stitched in every seam. Stepping through the jungle.